Okay, so let's talk about Tesla. What if I told you that just last week, 5 huge announcements dropped in just 4 days, and they might have changed everything? We're going to connect the dots here, because when you see how the government, Tesla's own AI team, and their new products are all lining up, well, it looks like things are speeding up in a big, big way.
And it kind of kicked off with this. The U.S. Secretary of Transportation, the person who literally sets the rules for every single car on the road, posts this question online. Now, you might see that and think, that's interesting. But trust me, this was not just some random off-the-cuff remark.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. Was this just a one-off comment, or was it the first domino in a much, much bigger chain of events? Let's dig into the evidence, because once you see how all these pieces fit together, you'll understand why last week was, well, kind of historic.
All right, first up, that big green light from Washington. For years, the biggest hurdle for self-driving cars wasn't just about getting the tech right. It was about the law. And that just took a massive turn.
So at this brand new AV safety forum, the Transportation Secretary lays out this 3-step plan. Now look, prioritize safety, unleash innovation. We've heard that kind of language from the government before, right? But it's that third part, enable commercial deployment. That's the real game changer here. This is the government saying, okay, we're done just talking about the future. We're actively rewriting the rulebook to make this happen for real and at a huge scale.
And this is where it gets really concrete. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, is now officially revising its safety standards. Think about what that means. They're trying to figure out how to give the official stamp of approval to a car that has no steering wheel, no pedals, nothing for a human to touch. For something like Tesla's Cybercab, which is built from the ground up to be exactly that, well, this is like removing the single biggest roadblock standing in the way of a national launch.
Okay, so the coast is clearing in Washington. Now let's jump to the second huge piece of this puzzle. How is Tesla planning to build the actual engine for all this? And I'm not talking about an electric motor. I'm talking about the AI chips.
And just look at the sheer scale of what they're doing. We're talking about a $25 billion project called Terrafab. So you know how Tesla already designs its own chips? Well, that's not enough anymore. Now they're planning to build the whole shebang, the entire factory, from the ground up, to make their own chips from scratch.
And when I say the scale is huge, I mean, wow. Their goal is to be pumping out 1 million silicon wafers a month by 2030. To put that into perspective, that would make Terafab one of the biggest, most advanced chip factories on Earth. This isn't just planning for a little bit of growth. This is a company bracing for a tsunami of demand.
And we're not talking about using last year's tech here. No way. They're going straight for the cutting edge, 2-nanometer chips. This is the same high-end stuff that giants like Apple and NVIDIA are using for their top-of-the-line products. So Tesla is basically saying, we're not just a car company anymore, we're playing in the big leagues of chip design.
So you gotta ask, why go to all this trouble? Why build your own $25 billion factory? Well, this right here is why. When you add up the chips they're going to need for cars, for the Optimus robot, for AI, the estimate is around 200 billion AI chips a year. Now get this, that's more than the entire world's current output from the 2 biggest manufacturers, TSMC and Samsung, combined. So they're not building their own supply chain just because they want to. They're building it because the one that exists today literally can't handle what they're planning to do.
Okay, that brings us to piece number 3 of this puzzle. And honestly, this one kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people, but it might be the biggest game changer of them all. Tesla is jumping into enterprise AI with a new project they're calling Digital Optimus.
So, what exactly is it? Well, imagine an AI agent, a digital worker, basically, that can do the tasks of someone in an office. It's this joint project between Tesla and xAI, and it's super clever. It takes the powerful reasoning brain from the Grok AI and combines it with Tesla's specialty, understanding the real world through video. So it can literally look at a computer screen, figure out what's going on in any app, and then use it, just like you or I would.
And get this, the timeline is wild. It can already run on the computers inside today's Teslas. That means every parked Tesla could basically become part of a giant, distributed supercomputer. They're even putting it in supercharger stations, and they're aiming to get the first version out to users as early as September. That's just a few months away.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got the rules of the road clearing up. We've got a plan for an unimaginable supply of AI chips, and we've got this brand new AI software platform. Now, let's get to the convergence point. This is where we see how all these separate threads tie together into one big, incredible picture.
So you don't have to just take my word for it. Listen to the signals coming from inside Tesla. Their VP of AI, Ashok Elluswamy, he's calling this the most critical year. He keeps saying that the exact same AI brain that masters driving is the same one that's going to power the Optimus robot. And when you look at what he's saying publicly and the fact that they're hiring like crazy, it all points to one thing. They think they're on the verge of solving self-driving, and that frees them up to go after these next massive challenges, like digital Optimus.
And this isn't just talk and software. While all this is going on, the actual hardware is coming to life. Production on the Cybercab, their purpose-built Robotaxi, already started back in February, and they were weeks ahead of schedule. They're using this radical new unboxed manufacturing system that's designed to be crazy fast and build these things at an unbelievable scale.
And the software. It's already out there, in the wild. The Robotaxi service in Austin is up and running as we speak, with no safety drivers, and they're already expanding. So let's be clear, this isn't some science fair project or a future demo. This is a real commercial business that is growing today.
And that brings us right back to where we started. You have the hardware being built, you have the software already working in the real world, and now you have the US government actively clearing the path to let this exact vehicle drive on public roads, everywhere. You see, these aren't just a bunch of lucky coincidences happening at the same time. This is convergence. So, what does all of this actually mean for the future, and what should you be looking out for? I mean, of course, there are still risks and a long way to go, but the entire conversation around Tesla, it's definitely changing.
Right now, you can kind of see three possible futures playing out. In scenario 1, okay, Tesla is still mostly just a car company. Scenario 2 is a bit better. They get the Robotaxi thing working profitably in a handful of cities. But then there's scenario 3, the convergence scenario, the one that all this week's news seems to be pointing to. And in that future, the Cybercab goes nationwide, the Optimus robot starts rolling off the production line, and all these new AI businesses start generating massive revenue.
So if you want to know which one of these futures we're heading for, here are the specific things to watch. Pay close attention to the Terrafab launch event on March 21st. In April, we're going to see how fast they can really ramp up Cybercab production. Keep an eye on the government, see how that NHTSA rulemaking is going, and of course, the Q2 earnings report will give us the first hard numbers on both Cybercab and Optimus production. Oh, and keep an eye on what Ashok Elluswamy posts online. Those are the breadcrumbs that are going to tell us the real story. And all of this leaves us with one final big question. You know, for years and years, the entire debate was always if Tesla could ever really solve full self-driving. But the Cybercab is being built, the Robotaxi is on the road, the government is changing the laws. So maybe the question has fundamentally changed. Maybe it's not about if anymore. Maybe it's just about how fast. And after the events of this one week, it feels like that answer is a whole lot faster than we thought.